everyone, today we're studying when food gets spoiled. So what will we learn in this chapter? We will learn why food spoil, different microbes that affect food, and how to preserve food. Before we get into the chapter, let us do a quick warm-up. Rory and Corey are helping their parents by putting away the groceries. They put the milk and vegetables in the fridge, the pulses, rice and spices in a dry container in the cupboard. They put the chicken and the meat in the freezer. Do you know why different things are stored differently? Let us discuss why. Have you ever tried to heat milk only for it to curdle? Bananas that have been left in the basket for too long turn black and mushy? In hot summer months, if you do not keep the cooked food in the fridge, it starts to smell bad. Have you ever noticed any of these? In all these instances, the food has become spoiled. It is not fit for consumption. That means that you should not eat it. If you eat it, you will fall ill. Spoilage of food is the process in which the food goes bad and it is not eatable by humans. Food is likely to go bad and so we call it a perishable item. Not all food items become spoiled in the same way. For example, milk can get spoiled within a day while sugar takes months to get spoiled. Why does food become spoiled? All the food starts to decompose because of natural effect of ripening. Also, some foods are attacked by pests, insects, bacteria, mold and yeast. Moisture in the air, temperature and chemicals can also affect the foods and lead to decomposition. Now, let us discuss about bacteria. All foods contain bacteria. As time passes, bacteria grow and break down the food. In this process, waste products appear. These waste products are bad to smell and taste and may harm us if we consume them. As the number of bacteria in the food increases, more food gets broken down, and hence we can say that the food is spoiled. Now, let us discuss yeast. Yeast affects food items that contain sugar. Just like bacteria, yeast also spoils the food. Let us see molds. Molds grow in places with high moisture. We can see it during rains on food items that are not properly packed and sealed. Let us discuss pests and insects. All dried food items like grains, cereals, pulses, nuts, etc. are attacked by insects and pests. Insects and pests, on finding our food stores, consume them, leaving behind waste. Also, insects and pests carry microbes on them which further spoil the foods. Did you know honey is the only food that will never rot? It can last for up to 3,000 years. Now, let us discuss about moisture, air and temperature. Moisture, air and temperature affect how fast the food will get spoiled. All the microbes need oxygen to grow. If the food is left to the open, the microbes will use the oxygen in the air to grow and reproduce, and the food will get spoiled. In the same way, water also helps microbes to grow. So, food gets spoiled fast in monsoon. Therefore, we do not use wet utensils to store food. But food also gets spoiled fast in summer when the air is dry. The air always has some moisture or water vapor in it. In summers, it is just less as compared to monsoons. Yet, the temperature is just right for the microbes to grow. Microbes cannot grow in extreme temperatures, so freezing or boiling keeps them safe from microbes. At room temperature, the microbes have a suitable condition to grow. So why should we not consume spoiled food? Bacteria in the food increases every minute. Eating food with a lot of bacteria in it can make us ill. Also, when bacteria break down the food particles, they produce harmful substances that may make us ill. Consuming spoiled food often will cause severe stomach ache, diarrhea, vomiting, and fever. In some cases, it may cause food poisoning. For example, drinking raw milk, spoiled meat, or uncooked leaves may make us ill. Therefore, we must look for proper hygiene. Always wash and cook the foods properly. Foods should always be stored properly for our safe consumption. Did you know almost 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every year? This is around 1/3 of all food made for human consumption. Also, half of the fruit and vegetables harvested in the tropics are lost because of fungal spoilage. Let us think, are bacteria and yeast useful? Not all actions of bacteria and yeast are harmful. For example, bacteria break down the ingredients of milk to make yogurt or curd and cheese. The action of bacteria by which food becomes spoiled is the same action by which bacteria act on milk to make it into curd. Similarly, when yeast is added to bread dough, the yeast acts on it, ferments it, and increases the dough in size. So, we can use bacteria and yeast in some foods. Dry, clean, and tightly closed containers. We should use these for storing food. For example, we store pickle for months. If we use a wet spoon to take some pickle, we will see mold in it. Because pickles are prepared without water and the wet spoon promotes the growth of mold. Also, we must close the lids tightly so that no insect or pest can enter the container. How to prevent food from getting spoiled? Both natural and artificial preservatives can prevent the food from getting spoiled. Read the label of any packed food item like biscuits or ice creams and you will know the preservatives that are added. These preservatives help the food or delay the food from getting spoiled. There are some natural preservatives like neem leaves and sea salt. When storing large quantities of grains, neem leaves and sea salt is mixed with the grains. Both prevent the grains from getting spoiled, especially by insects and moisture. Let us discuss what is refrigeration. Refrigeration helps in increasing the life of foods. Microbes are dormant in very cold temperatures. Hence, the cold and freezing temperature in the fridge slows down or stops the growth of microbes. This keeps the food safe to eat for some days. Thermos or vacuum flasks. Thermos or vacuum flasks keep the hot foods hot and also slow down the growth of microbes. Microbes cannot survive very hot temperatures. Let us look at canning. Canning of foods also helps preserves it for a long time, as the canned foods are vacuum packed. Vacuum packing helps the oxygen out, and without oxygen, microbes cannot grow and spoil the food. Have you seen the jam in bottles? They are all vacuum packed. Once we open the bottle, we should put the bottle in a refrigerator. Here's a science top-up. We should not use insecticides in the kitchen to prevent insects and pests. Insecticides are poison, and when we spray them on the food and we consume the food, we are also consuming the poison. Instead, we must keep the kitchen clean all the time and make sure all the containers are tightly sealed. Here's the glossary of the chapter. Infestation. Infestation is the presence of an unusually large number of insects or animals in a place which can cause damage or disease. Preservative. Any substance we use to prevent foodstuffs, wood, or other materials against decay. Here's the mind map of the chapter. Temperature, air, and moisture hasten the spoilage of food. Microbes, pests, and insects also spoil the food. To prevent this spoilage, we use preservatives, dry, clean, and closed containers, refrigeration, canning, and thermos. Kids, here is something for you to explore. Go home and in your kitchen, look at the cupboards and pantry. Notice how different food items are stored. Come in the class and discuss with your friends.